Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel SS Analysis. First of all, I would like to tell you that if you are watching this video first time, subscribe my channel to see my more upcoming videos on analysis of different commodities and equity indices. And second important thing is to watch this video till its end to understand this story to take your decision. Your one like will motivate me to be regular in working more hard for you. So let us start the day to analyze the movements of S&P 500 futures in different time frames. So here I would like to start with a weekly time frame. Here you can see that how the S&P 500 futures behaved in a weekly time frame, where you can see that after testing the levels of 2874 in January 2018, S&P 500 futures showed a steep downward move and tested the lows of 2528 in February 2018, and since then here we can see that the S&P 500 futures have been showing a constant sequential behavior of testing higher highs and higher lows after a gap of times. So once again the S&P 500 futures tested the levels of 2947 in September 2018, and here you can see that the S&P 500 futures found stiff resistance at the levels of 2950 and finally started to move downward from the levels of 2947 and tested the lows of 2321 in December 2018, when the territory reversal started during the month of October between the US and the China. The S&P 500 futures tested the lows of 2921 in December 2018. Here you can see that finally the S&P 500 futures found a strong support at 200 days moving average, whereas they closed above the 200 days exponential moving average. And here you can see that since December 2018 the S&P 500 futures were maintaining an uptrend up to April 2019, where they started to face some resistance at the levels of 2960 once again what they felt here. So here you can see that this level of 2957 seems to be a stiff resistance level for the S&P 500 futures from a long time. So here we can see that when the S&P 500 futures tried to sustain above this immediate resistance during the month of July 2019, but here we can see that after facing stiff resistance at the levels of 3019, S&P 500 futures moved downward and tested the levels of 2775 in August 2019, where they witnessed a sharp reversal. Here you can see that a bullish hammer was formed in a weekly time frame, which resulted in one more upward rally from the levels of 2808 in August 2019. The S&P 500 futures continued this uptrend and tested the levels of 3342 in January 2020. And here you can see that the second resistance level was seen at the levels of 3335, where I find that this seems to be a tough resistance, while the S&P 500 futures tried to sustain above this second resistance level. And here you can see that the S&P 500 futures found this level as a tough resistance at the levels of 3388 when the first case of COVID-19 got confirmation in the month of January. And finally the S&P 500 futures started steep downward move on February 20th, which continued up to March 23rd, when the S&P 500 futures tested the lows of 2183. And here you can see that when the S&P 500 futures found a strong reversal from these levels, immediate resistance was once again at 200 days moving average, where you can see that the S&P 500 futures finally broke this stiff resistance level of 200 days moving average and continued this uptrend and found some resistance at the levels of 3232, what they found in June 2020, and finally moved downward but found a strong support at 50 days exponential moving average at the levels of 2973, which seems to be a strong support level for S&P 500 futures in a weekly time frame. So once again the S&P 500 futures continued this uptrend in June 2020 and finally tested the highs of 3388 on August 31st, 2020. Here I find that after testing the highs of 3388 on August 31st, 2020, the S&P 500 futures found sharp sell-off from these levels. Here you can see that during the last week, the S&P 500 futures tested the lows of 3302 and finally closed at the levels of 3337. Here I find that the levels of 3337 seems to be a stiff resistance when the S&P 500 futures tried to sustain above this resistance level during the month of February 2020. But here you can see that when the S&P 500 futures breached this stiff resistance level and moved upward, now this stiff resistance level has turned into a strong support, and now here I find that the level of 3337 seems to be an important level. Here I find that if the S&P 500 futures take a sustainable move below the levels of 3289 during the upcoming week, we will see the S&P 500 futures to find a immediate support at the levels of 3220, and the second support can be seen at the levels of 3089, where the 50 days exponential moving average will provide strong support to S&P 500 futures, from where the S&P 500 futures may take some reversal, but I find that a sustained move below these levels will result in a sharp downward move up to the levels of 2789, where the 200 days moving average will provide a strong support to S&P 500 futures during the upcoming week. So friends, here I find that why I'm saying this, that the S&P 500 futures may see some more sell-off. So for this, we will have to check this move in a daily time frame. So in a daily time frame, here you can see that after facing stiff resistance at these levels, the S&P 500 futures move downward up to the levels of 3307 on September 9, 2020, from where the S&P 500 futures found a good reversal. Here you can see that the S&P 500 futures have been constantly facing stiff resistance at the 20 days moving average, which is currently at the levels of 3429. Here I find that after facing a stiff resistance, the S&P 500 futures move downward and finally formed this bearish hammer. In a daily time frame, the S&P 500 futures may see continuation of this sell-off during the upcoming week. Here I find that the immediate support will be seen at the levels of 3254 at the upper end of Ichimoku cloud, and the second support will be seen at the lower end of Ichimoku cloud, where the 200 days moving average will provide a strong support to S&P 500 futures in case of a downward move. So here I find that this bullish crossover may result in some more upward moves in S&P 500 futures, where the S&P 500 futures may test once again these levels. But on the other hand, if we have a look at the current position of 20 days exponential moving average, which is still below the 20 days moving average, which indicates that short term is still very bearish, and the 50 days exponential moving average is also trying to move below the 50 days moving average, which confirms the continuation of this downward move during the upcoming week, where I find that the final support will be seen at the levels of 3096. Here I find that in a downward move of S&P 500 futures, we will see the S&P 500 futures will find a strong support at the levels of 3149, and the second support will be seen at the levels of 3096, from where we will see the S&P 500 futures to bounce back once again to test these levels. So thank you friends, thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, don't forget to share this video with your more and more friends. Thank you.